Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're here to talk about why the stage mentality is the worst mentality in NBA 2K20. So what I mean by that is the point guards who only look for 3-pointers, never hit their bigs when they're wide open in the paint. The bigs are always holding screens, never taking the slips when the defense is playing sides on them. We're here to talk about all this stuff, so I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Let's try this video to 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. And as you can see by the pregame intros, these aren't the highest rep levels. However, this dude on the far right, JUMPSHOT, he was in TNB last year, and he definitely knows his stuff. And obviously you can see the Formula Event 1 on him. Now I'm not gonna lie, could that be fake? Absolutely. Could AKs on the left right here be fake? Absolutely. But is it? No. So long story short, you can see offensive threat, sharp takeover. We got two-way slash play at the 2, lock build, and then we got our finisher, legend, at the 3. So essentially what I'm getting at in this video, we both have inside bigs. With inside bigs, you absolutely have to take the slips when they're there. When you're playing sides on an inside, it only makes sense to just, take the paint that's wide open. Now, if the big man doesn't realize that, that becomes a whole nother problem. But there are going to be a lot of times where the big was hitting his slips, the guard just wasn't hitting him on the rolls. Now, when you do that early in the game, and I really want to turn this video into talking about the problems of running an inside as well, and why when you have an adamant point guard who isn't gonna, work with you on those things. Look at this. He hits the slip, right? Just absolutely does not get hit on the pass. And then they play for this standing lob right here. Cook snatch, it doesn't snatch block, right? But he snatches the ball out of midair. And that is entirely possible. The slip is wide open, the lob is contested. It's as simple as that. Now you're gonna see later in the gameplay too, and not too much later now that I think about it, but I had some crazy block too, and it was because they just refused to hit their big man on the roll. Now I wanna break this one down for you guys. So you're gonna see we run the pick and roll, he gets stuck on this pick right here as he moves to the right. Now the big man steps up, he probably thinks he's full switching, but the guard miscommunicates with him, there's a misunderstanding right there, and long story short, I'm camping here in the paint. Now AK's a little stage hit himself, so he doesn't really, think in this moment, and he rarely plays with insides as well. He doesn't think in this moment to throw the lob where this is going to be an easy pass to make, but if you throw a straight line one right here, it's an easy interception, and you can see that happen. So just understand there's a lot of IQ stuff that goes into this, and AK is a smart point guard himself. He knows better than to do that, but like I said, he doesn't play with insides too often, so that doesn't become something that's really thought of to throw very often. A lot of times it's just a rim sharp who's standing out of the way. Now that's where I want to talk about this topic of the video too, how if you're an inside big man, a lot of people say the inside big takes the least amount of skill, and I get so tired of this whole topic and conversation of what takes more skill, what takes less skill, and you can see crazy snatch block right there. I have to interrupt my topic with that. That was insane. Now I want to run this one back to, I promise I'm not going to make too many rewinds in this video, but you're going to see our outlook right here. I'm playing super high on this left side, Cook's playing super high on this right side. He hits his big man, right? And you would think this is a super easy wide open take, and I just happened to get a ridiculous chase down animation, and that really was a game changer right there. To get 2 free points the other way while taking away 2 from them, and now we have a 5-0 lead is ridiculous. And that's where we talk about this inside big problem, right? When you start the game and you are down by 5 points and it's 5-0 already, if you aren't taking your 2s when they're there, like that right there, and I'm still, honestly, that's still not a very consistent and efficient take right there. To be throwing contested lobs when you can just have wide open slips if you understood the concept properly. And again, I understand these guys aren't the highest competition level when it comes to the reps and stuff. Sometimes you can't just take the reps and say oh, that means they're not good though, because these guys are definitely nice with the sticks. This JUMPSHOT dude was super good as well, but he just refused to take the 2s when they were there, and that really does become a problem. That's why we're here to talk about the stage mentality is a problem. Now you can see we get the poke right there, the ball gets discombobulated, and everything's just all over the place. AK's up and now he's not, and then it's okay, what's going on here? Really, and then Cook wasn't really ready to play the sides, and then they get a corner cut with the drive from their big man. It was just all types of craziness going on right there. But I want you guys to understand and come back to that topic of what I was talking about, where with an inside big man, when you are already not taking your 2s when they're there early on in the game, and then all of a sudden on top of that, you just make it even more problematic for yourself, and you're down, and now they're easily playing sides on you, trying to take away 3-pointers. Because why? Well, now we're up by 6 points, which is 2 whole possessions. All we have to do is not give up any 3s, and then that becomes 3 possessions, right? So now our defensive outlook, we're okay, forget about the big man. Now we're just about to completely 3 up on him like that, and it's gonna be so easy. Now another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I want to hear some feedback in the comments on this one. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are as far as which is harder to play as. Not what takes more skill or what takes more IQ. I want to hear what you think is harder to play as, an outside big or an inside big man. In my opinion, here's the compare and contrast. as an outside big, you do have to time your jump shot. That's obviously one thing. But, you know, as a rim sharp who has Hall of Fame shooting badges and you're shooting off Hall of Fame dimer, floor general, and you have hot zone hunter, all types of hot zones and stuff. And I just feel like that's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Now, me running to the hoop and holding my right stick down, that's not the hardest thing in the world to do either. But like I was saying, to not take your slips when they're there and not understand when to pick and roll, that does become problematic. So in my opinion, when it comes to stick skill, I feel like the rim sharp requires more, but as far as IQ, I definitely feel like the inside big requires more. That's just how I feel. And you can see Cook defends that lob perfectly again. It's so easy to box those standing lobs up, and I don't know why they're doing it so much in this game. And then you see me with the bronze interceptor, tipping the pass and then get the jump ball. I mean, at this point, the game's obviously already over. Now, we did hit a little bit of a stall out, and you can see me and Cook both got our takeover. But we did hit a little bit of a stall out as, like, this game moves along. You can see I'm just camping block for the lob. Dude goes cold off his, like, spamming reach-ins and stuff. I mean, at this point, he's kind of just doing it to himself, right? He doesn't really care at this point. The game's already over. Now, I'm not going to lie. From this point on in the gameplay, it just becomes a lot of unexplainable things as far as the commentary goes, where it's just weird miscommunications that we had, or just a lot of reach-ins, tip passes, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to refrain from commentating the gameplay for the next minute or two. But what I do want to get back to is the whole inside versus outside debate and give some context to this as well. When it comes to randoms, if we're talking like randoms, right, being an inside is a complete problem. If you have no communication with your point guard or anything like that, that becomes a true problem, because pick and roll is so easy to box up if all you do is play sides. Now, with all that said, why would you play sides on an inside big? The only place you can score from is in the paint. That's the mentality that a lot of people in the park get with the pick and roll stuff. And then, you know, any good point guard just comes out here and completely just dices them up from three because it's a 2-on-1 in that situation. That's probably why a lot of people sit here and say that screens are OP, screens are unstoppable. How do I defend this? Well, if you have the right communication from your team and the right, you know, team defense, it's not hard to stop this at all. Now, on twos, that becomes a different topic, because if all you're doing is giving up slips and, you know, playing sides on everything, it's going to be easy twos. Now, if they were taking them, which I feel like they probably would be if it was make it take it, where, you know, there's no devaluing 2-point shots. Every possession is worth enough because you get the ball right back if you do dunk it. Now, like I said, the stage mentality in this 3v3 stuff is to constantly just look for threes. I saw it, you know, in Tyceno's stream with Iggy Mo and Chris as well. And I know I name drop Tyceno in almost all my videos. I don't know why, but I just do want to explain. I was watching this series yesterday, you know, with against Alex, and pretty much I was watching both teams. They were out here fiending for threes, and it was ridiculous to see people just not taking their wide open twos while even they have a lead sometimes. And that was just crazy to me. And this 3v3 stuff, it can get a little bit boring sometimes. I do agree with some of you guys who leave that in the comments where, you know, it's all just slip, 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 slip. But what I love to explain it to you guys is stuff like this of why you do it, and how really, if they would have just been taking their twos, they could have easily just played the twos game with us back and forth. We take our two, they take their two, and we try to play for some nice chase down blocks like I got earlier in the game as well, my one block that I had. And it all just comes down to later in the game who can pull off getting a three or misses a three first, and then that gives the other team the advantage. Now, when you put yourself in this situation early in the game where you refuse to take your twos, you don't pace yourself throughout the game and just stay score for score back and forth, and you just fiend for these three-pointers early on, and you get zeros instead of twos or instead of threes, that becomes super problematic. You get behind in the scoreboard. Now the defense can entirely ramp up on stopping three-pointers, and as you can see, we went 9 for 9, had 2 turnovers. They were both tip passes, obviously, and AK could have actually prevented one of them big time by just throwing a lob, but nonetheless, you see, we had a flawless game as far as the offense goes. And then, really, like I said, they could have had a lot of takes to the paint, and I don't want to be calling anybody out specifically. Obviously, JUMPSHOT is a nice, you know, really good comp point guard as well, but with all that said, I just wanted to give you guys a lot of tips and learn from his mistakes in this game where he refused to hit his big man on the rolls, and it became super problematic. And then, like I said, with an inside big, it's all the more problematic. I would say against an outside big, we tend to always play sides no matter what, just because obviously we're worried about his three-pointer ability as well. With the inside, I don't like to play sides at all times because I just don't like the idea of giving an inside big man a free roaming to the paint every single time, and obviously they do pretty well with the contested finishing as well. And then we have a really bad corner rotation guy as far as the defense goes with AK. He's 6'1" with 1 defensive badge. He's not going to impact that at all, so they don't really have anything to worry about as far as the help defense goes. With all that said, when you play against the right people, or in this case the wrong people, who, you know, don't hit their bigs on the slips, it's super easy to play sides against anybody. You can do it at any given time, and it's a really good balance as far as the defense goes. It's something that we always open the game up doing because we want to pace ourselves. We want to, you know, have a further understanding of what we're dealing with, as well as just make sure that we're not giving up any threes early on in the game, yet still taking R2s in the right situation. It allows you to assess the game a little bit. Anyway, that's off the vid. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Let's try this video 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. You can see this was literally 2 hours ago that I played this game. And like I was saying, there was this message that Cook got sent to, where it was literally talking about, imagine your defense being so bad that you have to play sides all game. Like I said, I mean, if people would just play the right pace and just take the twos when they're given them, take what the defense gives you. That's the old head mentality in me. I'm sorry, I'm only 21, but I mean, like I said, that's just the old head mentality, and that is superior. It's better than the stage mentality, like I was saying. But anyway, that's off the vid. If you enjoyed, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. If you made it to the very end of the video, put AK in the comments to show your support that you made it all the way through. Other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed, and take it easy, man. Peace.